Blog Talk Radio.
Well, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, across this great country. Coronavirus might have a grip. Nobody has a grip on this Cleveland show, hosted by my good friend Peter Ray, American Sports History. Mark Mancini here, 347-205-9631. Without further ado, let me give him the podium, let me give him the mic, let me give him the red carpet. Peter, first of all, how are you? Second of all, how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, hi, Mark. I'm doing very well, and I have a YouTube channel. It's my name, Peter J. Ray, R-E-A. I've made 664 history videos in various areas: world history, American history, book reviews, poetic tours, and Cleveland baseball. So it's wonderful to be on the show. Now, we've got Jeff White here. Now, Jeff, according to it looks like you're the owner and a college baseball scout at Road to Recruitment, director of the Power Mill Training Academy in Tallahassee, Florida. Would you like to talk about the stuff you're doing?
Absolutely, Peter. Once again, thanks for having me today.
What
we try to do at besides little coaching that I do, some travel ball coaching, Power Mill Baseball is a great baseball facility. It's run by Brian Brown, super terrific guy, ex-MLB guy as well. We work with a lot of kids, all ages, all the way up until guys, graduate college. What I basically do there is scouting for the kids. I'll do some personal lessons, stuff like that. But it's such a great organization. It's family oriented. They just really take good care of their kids up there. They really do. I mean, we got kids there as young as 5 years old trying to get the basics, and like I said, kids all the way up through through college come there during the summer to practice whatever they feel they need to work on. We're always there to help as well. So,
are you a scout for placing guys in college or with the pro teams?
I am. No, not professional. It is strictly college recruiting, getting these kids, these student athletes from high school to the next level. Just dealing baseball right now, that's my specialty. That's what I've always done, and that's kind of where it is. It's a organization named Road to Recruitment. Three great things that we do for the kids. Number one, it's usually half the price of most other firms, number one. Number two, there's a 100% money-back guarantee if I can't place a student-athlete into college, which I've never had to do. And number three, for families who don't meet the financial criteria, I always, am able to give financial assistance if they need it. It's not fair to the, student-athlete if he can't get into college due to financial reasons beyond his control. So I always have a big heart with them as well.
And what is your own baseball background?
I played in college. I went to University of Kentucky. I went to JUCO first, and then I went to University of Kentucky. Was riddled with a bad injury there. I had a few pro tryouts with Sam Marciano from the Pirates. That was my probable potential draft pick, was going to be with the Pirates. And 3 knee surgeries later, I actually, typical, college guy story. I broke my leg the other way and had ACL, MCL, PCL surgery, and it was a few years of rehab. And to this day, the leg's not the same, but it is what it is. I love giving back to the kids now.
And do you have what team did you support growing up?
I grew up in New Jersey and New York area, so I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm a Yankees fan.
Well, it's always fun talking to Yankees fans because people love to hate the Yankees and I, sure, including in Cleveland here. But I always tell people, if you can hate the Yankees all you want, but if you love the history of baseball, you have to love the history of the Yankees because it's the history of baseball. I mean, I've read 1 million books. I mean, all these guys, Babe Ruth. It's the history of baseball. Babe Ruth, sure, Gehrig, DiMaggio, Mantle. It's funny, back in the 70s, oh, man, did I hate Reggie Jackson. And, now he's probably the guy I love the most, because he was my childhood. Reggie, Catfish Hunter, and the 70s Yankees. Oh, my God. Those.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, hey, Yankees have just
I remember the Reggie Candy Bar.
And for me, when Catfish Hunter died of Lou Gehrig's disease, I was devastated because he was only in his 50s, and he was, to me, the coolest the 70s was my era as a kid, and oh my God,
right.
Catfish Hunter, and that was the first big contract with the Yanks, and I thought, and he was a star with the A's, and then went to the Yanks, and so yeah, I mean, you guys, you got to give you guys a lot of credit, and so.
I love I have a whole room dedicated to him in my house. So.
Catfish Hunter.
Yeah, my wife doesn't agree with it, but yeah.
Really, Catfish? Oh yeah. Oh my God! I read a book. There's a book that came out. In fact, we just talked a couple weeks ago with Lenny Randle about Billy Martin, and I thought that was nice because he was talking about how that Billy should be in the Hall of Fame, and Martin had, I think he's not in because of the conflict he had with the press. But when you think about it, the press, I think, is just so. I mean, I think I would have a tough time not telling guys to go to hell after games.
Yeah.
I mean, and you played college, so you have, what it's like more as an athlete. So I feel like hopefully with time that he gets in. Billy Martin, what an amazing guy. What amazing life.
I think he'll get in, don't you? Eventually, you would have to.
Well, we'll see. I don't know.
It's been a long time.
That's what I heard. As the writers said, no, we're never voting for that guy because of they were they had conflict because he basically he couldn't. I mean, it's tough. These guys have such a. In fact, I read a book about guys who said guys now who think, man, we really mistreated Roger Maris in '61. And they feel like and I feel like, yeah, come on, give these guys a break. They're out there, and they're very. And I see it in Cleveland, the way the media is often, very critical. I mean, guys go out there, they give it their best shot, and then they take all this nonsense from the media.
Right.
And,
yep, you're absolutely right.
Anyway.
Absolutely right.
So, what else would you like? Would you like to talk more about your work or the Yankees, or what else would you like to talk about, Jeff?
We can go into a Yankees discussion. I would love that.
Yeah. Anything come to mind you want to get into?
Oh, my favorite player of all time, Derek Jeter.
Derek Jeter, yeah. What a career. First year they win the World Series, and oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, and that was supposed to be Cleveland's era. We got in the series in '95. It was like, okay, this is our era, and then it became the Yankee era. 4 out of 5 years. Wow. Oh my gosh. Those teams. So
it was a good time. He's, the one thing about Jeter is, you look at a lot of guys that bring drama upon themselves in all sports, but you never really heard anything about Jeter. He always kept a low profile. He was a class act. Everybody loved him, and that's a tough city, if not the toughest city, in my opinion, to play in. And they absolutely adored him. They did.
Yeah. So it looks like we got some callers here. So Mark, we got Todd from Atlanta. So I think should we put Todd in, Mark?
He's in for you, Todd.
Okay, Todd from Atlanta, you're on.
Hey, gentlemen, how are you today?
Oh, good. How are you? What's on your
Good.
mind?
I have some breaking news for you for Major League Baseball. It came out about 50 minutes ago. Article out of the USA Today with Bob Nightingale. Major League Baseball is planning a late June start, playing in their home stadiums with Reline League. So they're not sure yet if they'll be able to start the season out in their home stadium, but they would start playing maybe in Florida and Arizona first, which to me is huge if they can start playing in their home stadium and it's become successful. Not only will it be successful at the major league level, but it'll be successful at the minor league level, because if you're only playing in Arizona and Florida, a lot of minor league affiliates aren't going to be able to get started at all because you're going to be using those facilities. Major League Baseball is considering a 3-division 10-team plan, which teams would only play within their division. And you guys, I know that, Jeff, you're a Yankees fan, and you're going to have the Mets, the Red Sox, the Nationals, the Orioles, the Phillies, the Pirates, the Jays, the Rays, and the Marlins in the East. If you're a Dodger fan, Mark, you're going to have the Dodgers, the Angels, the Giants, the A's, the Padres, the D-backs, the Rockies, the Rangers, the Astros, and the Mariners in West. And the Central, I thought, was a division that would be up for grabs, literally, because there's really not, Cubs is probably the biggest market team in there. You got the Cubs, the two teams from Chicago, the Cubs and the White Sox, the Brewers, the Cardinals, the Royals, the upsurging Reds, which would have a shot so far in this division, the Indians, the Twins, the Braves, and the Tigers. So, the Braves, the Tigers, and the Cubs, the Brewers and the Cardinals would have to be, the favorites in that division. So, this is very interesting to me. They could do it. It would be a 100 game season. It's not known yet. They're trying to squeeze 100 to 110 games in. Maybe if things go well in the season, they would also have several thousand fans in attendance before or during the playoffs, and that's if it went extremely well. What are your thoughts on that, A, and B, on just having a season the way they've got it? And B, what are your thoughts even trying to put fans in the stands? Because that right there to me would be the downer of the whole thing. You got going all of a sudden, you put fans in the stands, and then you may or may not have a problem, guys, in terms of that. And, hey, maybe this virus, the heat and humidity will suck the life out of it. And, it comes back, we'll already have potentially some kind of antidote or drugs to kill it off, where if you did get the virus, because they're talking about that out of University of Louisville. Sorry, so winded here. Where it would kill, where you had the virus, you took the drugs, it would kill. You would not die having the virus, which is a huge game changer. So what do you guys think of all that? And I'd be interested to hear your thoughts.
So, Jeff, what do you think?
When I think about the all the fans getting together, and I've thought about this from on such a small scale with my son just playing travel baseball this summer, trying to get that going. But when you start talking mass amounts of people, 40, 50, 60,000 fans gathering together, I still think there's a lot of, and I'd like to have a concretized answer, but I think there's still a lot of uncertainty with that. And it, like you said, it all comes down to an antidote, to a vaccine, to something that could prevent it. And is everybody going to be able to get their hands on it? It's, if that's the case, I think it could be doable. If that vaccine is out in time, if they're able to administer this vaccine. And another thing, if everybody's able to get their hands on it, you may only have out of those 60,000, 10,000 people able to get their hands on it. Then what happens to the other, 40, 50,000? So I think that's kind of a question that, is going to come in time. But, do I miss baseball? I mean, yeah, if you're a fan, it's traumatizing almost. So, yeah, but I think right at this point, it's so much to even think about. It's and you talk about, when these people gather. I just heard a stat the other day. I don't know how true it is because I'm really not sure what to believe on the news or not anymore, that worldwide 119,000 people have died from the regular flu. I'm not downplaying COVID-19 by any means. But from a statistical guy's point of view, I think I wonder what's what, what's the truth, what's not the truth. And, I feel the entire country is unsure about it. We want to be safe, but what's the real deal behind it? I still think there's so many uncertainties. I really do.
Yeah, it's tough. It's all, like you said, it's heartbreaking for people not to have baseball, but then this the situation we're facing is also, it seems like it's overwhelming. Now we have Chuck from Palm Springs who'd like to join our discussion here. Chuck, you're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing? What I'd like to say about baseball opening, so many people are having economic hardships because of this. More people losing their jobs than any time since the Great Depression. Just terrible. Baseball, and so many people are helping out there. so many people are pitching in and helping it. The way baseball should pitch in, I don't have my hopes up. But I believe the way they should pitch in, because a lot of people have to cancel their cable subscriptions. I know this for a fact because of the squeeze that this is causing. Baseball should show at least, every team should agree to show half their games, at least half, on free television.
Sure.
There's no reason not to. Most of these guys make more in a year than most people make in a lifetime. So I don't have my hopes up, to tell you the truth, but I think that there's no reason in this crisis why baseball, with people in such a hardship, where you're going to still have to pay cable to see most of the games.
Yeah, it all becomes complicated because of money and the players, having to take a pay cut. The owners taking everyone's losing. And so,
well, let me tell you something about that. You got people losing their jobs and joining food lines. I don't feel sorry for a player making $5 to $10 million a year having to take a pay cut.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I mean, because this is. I mean, it's unbelievable what's happening. I mean, the economic destruction and what's the hardships that people are going through. I mean, this is just. I mean.
Now, do you think baseball will do it? To me, there's no reason not to.
Well, if they're smart, they will, because they got the money, and it would be a great act of goodwill, which is always very important in any business. And especially
I know many people canceling their cable because of this. It's just a bill it's a luxury. You can't afford it.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's cable TV. I don't even have cable myself. So listen on the radio like the old days.
Right.
So anything else you'd like to talk about, Chuck, or from history or from now?
Well, the Yankees, the Torrey teams were great teams, the Jeter-Torrey teams. In my lifetime, to me, the teams that I think the team that would actually beat those teams, only because they seem to always figure out a way to win. The two teams in the late 70s, the team that was down to the Red Sox by about 15 games with about a month left in the year, the Reggie Jackson, Thurman Munson team, that then came back and won that division, and then beat down 2-0 to the Dodgers in the playoffs in the World Series and came back and won. I would love to see that team somehow matched up against the Torrey teams. That was a money team.
No question.
Yeah, 77, 78 back to back, and then they signed Tommy John. And the late 90s. I was thinking about that. I mean, when Paul O'Neill was in right field, and they're chanting "O'Neill, O'Neill," and I think his father had died, and it was he was like emotional, and it was like wow, this is amazing. And then when they were chanting "Who's your daddy?" to Pedro Martinez in the ALCS, oh my God, that was unbelievable. And then when the two home runs that put the Yanks in the series, Chambliss in '76 and Aaron Boone in 03, and I was like, wow, those were really something. I mean, there's so much. So anyway, any thoughts, Jeff?
No, just he's absolutely right. I would love to see him matched up in some way. It's man, the eras of all these guys that I grew up with, and Chambliss and all these guys, Goose and everybody else. It's just been it's a huge history for me, and like you said, in baseball. So I would love to see the matchup. I wish there was a way to do it, but he's absolutely right. It would be fun to watch, no question.
And of course, you had Mr. October on those teams.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, Reggie.
Yep.
Yeah, that whole thing with Reggie and Billy and Steinbrenner was really something. And when they brought back Billy, they fired him, and then the fans were upset, and they and then it was old timers game, and they said, "Oh, the manager for like the next year, and it's Billy Martin running out in the field." It's like, whoa. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Yeah, and Mickey Mantle has a
years.
lot of stuff on Mantle out. You know, I mean, he's a little before my time, but you know, Mickey Mantle. You know, wow, that guy. What a story. DiMaggio and all of that. So, okay, Chuck. Anything else you want to talk about?
No, thank you.
Okay, thanks for the call. How about you, Jeff? Anything you want to talk about? Your Yankees or your work? So what's going on with your work now? Are you guys nothing's happening because of the lockdown?
You know, there's, you know, the NCAA Division I and II is kind of in a dead time / quiet time period right now, where they, you know, the student athletes can't come onto campus, but they can have electronic communications with the kids. It's I wouldn't say they're obviously not in full force. There's no showcases going on now. There's, you know, nothing like that where they can go visit the kids on neutral territories. So I would say it's a little lax, but they're still looking for players. They still have to fill the roster. I think one of our largest hurdles we're trying to get over is deciding which kids are going to return the following year. If you got 6 new kids coming into a 28-man roster and you got 8 coming back, you know, you're going to have overloaded rosters. You know, these kids are going to be going to B teams, maybe sit in the bench a little bit longer than a year. You just don't know. There's so many uncertainties right now. So it's been important for me to, when I do contact or call a college coach, to understand where that student athlete is on his list of recruits. Because if you're not one of the top few and he's got a bunch of athletes coming back and returning the next year, we have a problem. So that's kind of what we're trying to decipher when we talk to these college coaches and just kind of see where where they're at. And each college has varied completely. I mean, it's you may have none coming back in one school, you may have 8 or 9 coming back in another university. So it's been tough. We have to kind of weave our way around it and see where the student athlete can be placed, and not only from an academic standpoint, which is first and foremost on a coach's list, but from an athletic standpoint. The last thing you want to do is have a kid recruited to a school or university and he's going to sit for the next 2 years, and of course you learn a little bit, but nothing teaches you like playing in the middle of a game. Your playing time is going to teach you more than anything. So it's difficult. It is difficult. No question. That's one hurdle I've been trying to get over with a lot of my athletes, and just get them in the right program. So, but it's been successful so far. I just have to talk to maybe 20 or 30 more coaches along the way for a particular athlete and just kind of find out what's what at their school, if they even know. So. Yeah,
this is a tough situation. Mark Mancini's had this Jen Madison on, who is in charge of this organization for former pro baseball players, and and they target primarily, it sounds like guys who played in the minors, didn't make it to the majors, and are down and out now. There's a wonderful video by Bobby Gritch, who's involved with, and who I thought was such a cool player in the 70s, cool mustache, cool player, and he gave this great video, and you do some thinking about it. You think, but the guys who played in the minors who never made it, they're like the wreckage of baseball, because I can't imagine what that would be like to put it in the time's passing and they're not making much money and they don't make it.
Sure.
They don't make it. And you didn't get that far, but still you had to deal. I mean, you played college, so you had to deal with that disappointment. And all these guys now can't even play. Nobody's playing, right? So it's so important to try to help. I mean, I guess every athlete faces the end of the road and trying to help. So, I mean, you went through that yourself, so I'm sure you're, helping guys now to dealing with moving on with their lives, or at least dealing right now with not being able to play.
Exactly.
So that's wonderful that I'm sure you really enjoy your work, because, baseball's a beautiful game, and you get to help kids to, continue and pursue a career, pursue playing the game, so you get a lot of satisfaction
when you start
out
talking, when you start talking, around 5%, or some years less than 5% of kids actually get to play at the, at the next level. And I will say the most stressful thing was getting my son finally recruited. He rode the fence. I think I got him like 47 schools that wanted to recruit him. And then finally he decides on Chipola College, which is #1 ranked national champions, JUCO. in the country, and they are an incredible program. Jeff Johnson does an unbelievable job with those kids. So, he finally committed there, so he'll be heading there in the fall, and that kind of took a little bit of the sting away of not being able to finish his senior season. So
high school.
So finally that's over.
So he couldn't play his senior high school season of baseball.
I know it.
Right.
I know
it.
I couldn't imagine not playing my senior year, and I really felt for him, but he's been busy working out. He knows he's got a lot of stuff to do before he goes to Chipola and play with the big boys. These guys are they get a lot of D1 guys that are coming there to get drafted also after their first year, because you got to wait till after your junior year, in the NCAA. So he's going to be going up against some big boys.
What does
In fact, when we went
position
there,
does he play?
He's a pitcher.
Pitcher, okay.
He's a pitcher, yeah. He's touching probably 88 right now. He's got about 6 commanding pitches, so he's got a little something extra. But
and what were you?
We'll get him the rest of the way.
What did you play?
I was a pitcher also.
Oh, you're a pitcher.
So, I taught him. I taught him, and he perfected it.
Have you read Dick Bosman's book on pitching?
I have not, but I have heard so many good things about it.
Yeah, it's funny. When you're a fan, you see these guys, and then you don't hear anything. I was at the World Series a few years ago. Well, Houston Astros. I remember I was watching, and they said, and pitching coach Brent Strom is out to the mound. And I thought, well, Brent Strom, he played for the 73 Indians. And so it's cool. Actually, a lot of times I like the coaches more than the players, because I remember when they played in the 70s.
Right.
Well, good luck to your son. That's wonderful. Yeah,
Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate it.
I didn't even play. I didn't make high school team, and I pushed my son, and he had some success, but it came to an end. But so listen, Jeff, looks like you got a debut show, a Whiteout baseball show coming up on Saturday. You want to talk about your show?
Whiteout absolutely. Show? We're going to be having some college coaches on. We might even have some MLB players that I'm still good friends with. It's going to be a lot about baseball and everything encompassing it. So looking forward to it, though. It is going to debut on Saturday. I believe it's at 3 p.m. if I'm not mistaken. And the name of it is Whiteout, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited, Peter. I really am.
And so the focus is going to be on helping guys play college baseball.
That's going to be one of the focal points. Absolutely, it's going to encompass everything around college baseball, from recruiting to playing to being done with college baseball to all sorts of things. So it's and there's going to be some MLB stuff in there as well. So.
And as a baseball scout, where do you go? Do you go all in Florida or do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll travel all around the Southeast. I'll go to Alabama, Louisiana, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, Florida, obviously, because I'm here. So, and actually, a lot of people will reach me on social media as well. My Facebook page, Road to Recruitment. They'll reach out and say, hey, my son is this, he's that, he's a freshman. What do you recommend? And a lot of the times, I just get a lot of phone calls of people just asking questions, and I love helping them. I really do. But yeah, sometimes they'll just reach out and say, hey, can you help my son? And of course, you need to see some video. And I can usually ascertain by a couple minutes of video where the kid can be placed, even though it's not my call where he's going to play at. That's not my decision to make. It's the college coaches, obviously. But I can ascertain from that video where he's probably going to go, or at least have a good idea. So, and I help him get there.
Do you are you affiliated with any colleges, or you have a lot of contacts in college, different colleges?
I have over 750 college contacts.
Oh boy. Okay, so you're trying to,
large,
and you tip off colleges about players.
Correct.
Okay, you're like a sort of an intermediary.
Exactly. I will promote these players to college coaches, and first thing I'll ask the college coaches, what are your needs? Are you looking for a shortstop? You're looking for this, and they'll come back. I'm looking for somebody with a GPA like this. I'm looking for a left-handed hitter or a switch hitter, or somebody that can be a dual player for me. A lot of Division II guys, that are highly athletic, will entertain the idea of being a two-way player, and it's a fun thing to do. Not many get a chance to do that in college. So yeah, I basically promote them and get them there and walk them through the entire process. And another thing I enjoy doing is, I have some kids that, might have 5 or 6 colleges that are interested in them, they're ready to recruit them. And if the family or the student athlete wants some more options, I can provide 5 or 10 more options for them. That's typically not a problem. So I just love helping the kids, man. It's there's no feeling like, when you finally tell the family or sit down with them, or if I Skype them or get on the phone with them and say, so-and-so wants you, so-and-so wants you, this is what we're looking at in potential scholarship, even though, it's not a numbers sport, you're not going to get a huge scholarship. But now there's so many ways to get money. Academically, if your grades are good enough, they can throw in another $10,000 a year. Who knows? It's just kind of depends on the program itself. And the one thing that people don't really understand a lot, Division III can't give athletic scholarships, but sometimes you can get more of an academic scholarship in Division III than you can, athletically in Division I or II. So, there's never any reason to sweep a particular Division III school under the rug. They're all great programs, and they have high priority on academics as well. So, makes it fun.
Well, that's wonderful work you're doing, helping kids play college baseball and get scholarships. So God bless you and keep up the good work. And good luck to your son.
Thank you so much.
And
Thank you so much, Peter. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for coming on. It was wonderful having you. We'll turn things over to our fearless leader, Mark Mancini.
Well, I'll tell you, what a debut he's going to have Saturday, noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. We're looking forward to that. Coming right out of Tallahassee, Florida, the Whiteout, Jeff White hosting that. So blessed he's part of the network, and great things happening here. And as we wind this one down, American Sports History Podcast, hosted by my good friend Peter Ray. It's on blogtalkradio.com/Mancini Sports, Apple, iTunes, Stitcher, Periscope, all 9 yards. Also on the Primetime with the Stables Network, as we got 2 networks going, 30 shows a week. We're so blessed. We'll be back next Tuesday at these same times. Stay tuned at the top of the hour. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Chris Booth will be bringing the Power of Pittsburgh podcast. We'll be talking everything Pittsburgh in 30 minutes. Have a blessed one. For Chuck, for Todd out of Atlanta, for Jeff White coming in here and lending his experience. Thank you, Peter Ray. I'm Mark Mancini. Have a blessed evening.
All the best, Mark.
Thank you, buddy.